Hey guys, today I'm going to be giving you some tips on how to become sub 130 on Megaminx. So today I'm going to be going over some skills I have learned over quarantine on how to become better at Megaminx. This is an event that I have been practicing actually quite a bit lately, and I've really learned to respect the event. And it honestly is probably one of the most relaxing events in the WCA. So today I'm just going to give you some tips on how to become better at it, and maybe you'll find the fun and joy I have as well. So my first tip for you guys is to have good hardware. And what I mean by that is to have hardware that's not so expensive, top of the line on the market. However, also not to have like an off-brand budget Megaminx like this one I got off of Amazon to improve. And to start off, I'm going to give you my 4 recommendations on what Megaminxes to buy in 2021. So we have the X-Men Galaxy line. This is a non-magnetic concave one. However, it does come in the sculpted LM and M versions, also the magnetic concave. I find this cube, even without the magnets, to be really stable, kind of more controllable than the other ones, which I think is a really nice thing it has going for it. And yeah, it performs really well and has an iconic chi feeling to it. So that would be like my first recommendation for Megaminxes on the market. My second category is the YJ Megaminxes. Now there's 2 of them on the market. There's this MGC Megaminx and there's the Yoohoo V2M. Now the Yoohoo V2M I know is really popular amongst the community. I have the MGC version. Basically, I think they have the same feeling and performance. However, the MGC I would say has a better grip due to it just being a simple ridge design rather than that like star. But yeah, I think the YJ Megaminxes have something going for it for their very smooth and like clicky MGC performance with that nice price tag. So yeah, that would be my second recommendation for Megaminxes on the market. And I'd actually say this is probably the best bang for your buck or all around best Megaminx for most people. My third category is the people who love the iconic GAN filling. This is the GAN Megaminx. This is my main for quite some time. Yeah, it's a really good Megaminx. The grip system may not be ideal for some people, however, I don't mind it. I actually kind of like it. And the turning of it is very smooth, very responsive, has the best corner cutting, I would say, out of the 4. And yeah, this is the most expensive one. However, if you really want a reliable Megaminx with very smooth and lightning quick turning, this would be the puzzle for you. However, I will tell you it does have pretty strong magnets, and that can make the turning experience a little bit unenjoyable at times for me for long sessions. And lastly, my pick for my favorite Megaminx, and this will come to a surprise to most people, I actually really like the Auhun WRM. This cube, even though it may not have the best like turning or the best corner cutting, to me it's the most reliable of the cubes. This is the one Megaminx I have that has not corner twist on me, and I love the size and the speed of it. It also has a nice controllability to it. And this is after breaking up about like 600 solves. But I absolutely love this Megaminx, and this is the Megaminx I'm going to be using mostly through the video. And for me, if you like a very reliable, stable, and fast turning puzzle, I would definitely recommend this. I also like the magnet strength since it's not too overbearingly strong. And lastly, I do want to mention that there is the Dian Megaminx V2M. I don't have it, and I'm not intending to buy it. However, that's another Megaminx I would look into if you kind of want the Dian and GAN kind of smooth but strong magnetic feel. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that. So the next tip I would recommend for getting better at Megaminx is to improve your 3x3, 5x5, and big cube skills. So let's talk about why. So if you guys don't know how a Megaminx works, it's basically a 3x3 dodecahedron. So it has the same qualities of a 3x3 just with 12 sides. And basically why it's important to improve in 3x3 is the majority of the solve is actually just doing F2L. And in Megaminx, to get good, you have to have efficient F2L pairing all the time and be the most efficient as possible in a solve. So one thing I would recommend is getting better at F2L on 3x3. And one thing I would personally try to learn is pseudo slotting. So pseudo slotting is where you use kind of a buffer piece to basically create an F2L pair or a block. So in this case, I have orange and I have the blue piece right here. But we also know that the corner's right there. So this is kind of not an ideal solution, but basically on Megaminx, let's say we have this. Let's move that blue piece somewhere else. What you could do is solve the F2L pair and the orange and yellow cross piece, but then reinsert the blue piece at a later time. But that gives you the freedom to make more F2L pairs and cross pieces. And I think that's important in Megaminx because with Megaminx, you have so many more sides and so many more pairs and slots you have to fill. So I feel like instead of focusing on steps like doing the cross and then doing F2L, it's important to kind of do them simultaneously. And even if they're out of order, it will definitely make you faster with practice. So the next tip I could give you is to improve at big cubes. Specifically, I would say improve in 5x5. The reason behind this is it's kind of the in-between or the crossroads between being too big like a 6x6 or a 7x7, but it's also not as small or like a 4x4, which requires a lot more skill, I would say. It's kind of the best of both worlds where you pair things efficiently, but you also have to work on look ahead and speed, which I think is very important characteristic when getting better at Megaminx. So I definitely recommend improving your 5x5 skills, and I have a Hoya tutorial on how to get better at 5x5, so I'll leave that in the description if you're interested. Next step in getting better at Megaminx is improving your last layer skills. So you can learn OLL and PLL on Megaminx. However, for me, I don't even use that, and I'm still getting sub 1 minute 30 times. I basically use the beginner method, and all it is about is basically improving your speed and recognition on these solves. So as you can see, I'm just kind of casually solving the Megaminx through the camera, which is awful, but you basically just get better at your finger tricks and your efficiency on last layer. So there's 3 cases you can run into. There is the dot case, which kind of has 1 arrow because it does have 5 edges. There's I would say the L case or half star case. And there's the arrow case, I would say, or the bar case. And those are the 3 cross cases you'll get in beginners last layer Megaminx. So I'm just going to show you the algorithms I use to solve these the most efficient way, because you're going to run into one of these 3 cases during your Megaminx solve. So the dot case, it's basically like beginner 3x3 last layer or Megaminx last layer, where you're going to start with the algorithm set F, U, R, U prime, R prime, F to get the arrow case. And then from that, you're going to do the F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime to get the cross. For this case, the bar case, I just kind of showed you on the dot case, where you just go F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime to get the cross. And lastly, for the half star case or the L case, you do the same 3x3 subset for the cross. That's F, U, R, U prime, R prime, F prime to get the cross. And then in solving the Megaminx, I think you should know these cases. It's basically permutating the cross edges, then doing OLL for the corners, and then permutating the corners. And one tip I have is just kind of learning how to be efficient at it. So this is the worst case possible. Yeah, and then for this case, a lot of people for the beginners method do the RD prime method to permutate or do the top face for Megaminx. However, since Megaminx isn't as big of a rotation in 3x3, my recommendation for when doing corners is to rotate it counterclockwise, and then just do RU, R prime, U prime to permutate the corners. And kind of just do that all around the cube until you get the top face solved. And then you just proceed as normal, permutating the corners, just inserting them as you will. last tip I could give you is practice. And even though as vague as it sounds, I would definitely recommend practicing your efficiency in your solves in Megaminx. For me at least, I focus on how the timestamps on how I do the steps in a Megaminx. So I would say for the first two layers, I would definitely recommend to do that in less than 35 seconds. Under 30 is ideal, but less than 35 seconds is kind of like the maximum. To do the rest of the permutate the rest of the Megaminx except the last layer, which I just showed you in the last recommendation, under a minute 10, and then just be very efficient in your last layer solving, and you should be good at Megaminx. Um, really, once you get practicing and you really focus on why the event is fun, it really is a very rewarding event. I get really happy when I'm solving Megaminx, and it's not like a drag like other big cube events like 7x7 or 6x6. It's actually quite fun. So that's going to wrap it up for this video, guys. I hope you learned something. Tell me in the comments if my tutorial was helpful. If you want any of the cubes or Megaminxes I mentioned in this video, I'll have them down in the description. And that's basically it. So make sure to like and subscribe to see more tutorials in the future. And that's basically it. So thanks for watching, guys. Bye.